Hey guys, welcome back to this tutorial on current transformers, also known as instrument transformers. These electrical equipment are usually found on transmission substations or distribution substations. They serve two purposes. One is for metering purpose. That basically means they reduce a high level current to a low level current that can be measured, and they also serve the purpose of protections. That is, they send signal to your relays, and your relays then trip the circuit breaker in case of a high voltage fault on your system. So now in this tutorial, we have been asked to make a comparison between the burden. Now, what is a burden? Now, the burden is the amount of VA or volt ampere that a city has to carry on its secondary. Now remember, the current transformer may have a rating. But now there is a burden, which means the burden on the city must not exceed its rating. So now they're asking us to make a comparison between a burden on a 1 amp secondary city and a 5 amp secondary rated city. Now, this means we're going to have different burden on different secondary rated city. Now, the rating on the secondary depend on the relay that you are also connecting there. Now, if the city must supply relays taking 15 VA, now the 15 VA is the VA or the volt ampere power that the relays that is connected on the secondary of the city is going to be drawing through cables and panels. Now, wiring having lead resistance of 1.5 ohm and 0.2 ohm respectively. So that basically your current transformer have a relay attached to it, and the relay have wires that carry this resistance, the 1.5 and the 0.2 ohm. Okay, so now the first thing you're going to do, like we've done in the previous tutorial, that's tutorial 1 or 2, is to draw your schematic. Because by drawing your schematic, then you are actually making an illustration of your problem that you have at hand. Now, before we move forward, please hit the subscribe button now. Subscribe to Simtech channel. Why should you subscribe to Simtech channel? Because Simtech channel will be offering high quality tutorial covering various interesting topic of electrical engineering. So hit the subscribe button right now. And don't forget to like this tutorial if you find something interesting. Okay, so we move on. So as we've already said, you have to draw your schematic so that you can have an illustration of your problem. So now what do we have? We got the relay have a 15 VA rating, and we have an impedance of 1.5 ohm. That's basically one of the wire. And we have another impedance that is 0.2 ohm. That's a second wire. Then they're asking us to find the SB, which is the burden impedance, the overall impedance, the burden VA. That is the overall VA that your city will be carrying. Drawing your schematic, you have your city here. Okay, so there is your high current that's going to be passing here. You're going to have kiloamps of current passing here, but this city is going to be supplying a 1 amp or a 5 amp on its secondary terminal. So now that current is going to be energizing your relay attached here. Now we have a 15 VA relay that is attached as they've said there. And then you go to two wires that are connecting the relays, and each one of these wires have a resistance or an impedance of 1.5 ohm. So you can clearly see the illustration of your problem. Now the burden VA they are now asking is actually the power, the overall power that the city is going to see through its secondary. That is the power being dropped across this resistance, the power being dropped across this one here, and the power being drawn by the connected relay. Okay, so we're going to start for the 1 amp nominal city. That means for the 1 amp flowing through the secondary of the city through here. Now let's move on and calculate the SB, the overall burden VA of the city for a 1 amp nominal current. Now the formula for that SB, obviously as we've already discussed, will be the S of the relay plus the S of resistor 1 or plus resistor 2. So you need to combine the overall power dropping through there, and that's going to be the burden volt ampere that the CT must carry. It's called the burden because the CT must support it in order to keep functioning. This is why you must make sure that the burden does not exceed the rating of the CT. Just like if you have a transformer, a normal transformer like an induction transformer, okay, like a step-down transformer rating at 50 kilowatt, you can never try to connect a load of 6 kilowatt on that transformer. It's not going to work. You are exceeding the burden. So this is basically the same thing that we're talking about here. Okay, so what do we know? We have already the S of the relay, that is 15 VA. Now we need the S of resistor 1 and resistor 2. That is going to be very easy. So S of resistor 1 is going to be given by the impedance resistor 1 times the current square. That's basically the power formula, and that gives us 1.5 VA. We move on to the second one, the same thing, and it gives us 0.2 VA. Now we have S of resistor 1, S of resistor 2. The next thing to do is basically just to add everything together like this, and then we have a 16.7 volt ampere. So the SB, so SB is equal to 16.7 volt ampere for a CT rated at 1 amp nominal. Okay, so now we move on to the second one. From here, you already can see that we're just going to repeat exactly the same procedure, but this time using a 5 amps current. Stick around so that you can see how we're going to do it. For a 5 amp CT rated current, we have SB is going to be equal to the same formula. Then we calculate S for R1, and then we find a 37.5. Notice how it increases. Then we move on to the next resistance, that is SR2. Again, we replace the values, and then we find SR2 VA will be equal to 5 VA. Now from here, as we've done previously here, we just need to add all the volt ampere, and that adds up to 57.5 VA. This means we have a SB or a S burden of 57.5 volt ampere for a 5 amp rated CT. So this basically means if you're going to have a relay that's rated at 5 amp and a CT is going to be supplying a 5 amps, you have to make sure that you choose a CT that's got a higher rating VA, because that basically means your burden is also going to be higher. So if you take a lower rated CT, you're going to have problem dealing with all the other overloading issues on your current transformers. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Please guys, once again, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Simtech channel. That will be highly appreciated. Cheers, see you again till the next tutorial. Cheers.